Okay. Now we also looked at the agents of fragmentation. One is the encroachment. You look at the encroachment. See, this region is Anshi Dandeli Tiger Reserve. In encroachment is minimum, which emphasizes we need to identify eco-sensitive zone and protect it at any cost. Then we also looked at the developmental project. See, because of the, say, people might have allotted 70 acres for a project. But over a period of time, the township and all comes, and that's how the land use changes happens, That's what we have noticed. For example, the Andeli paper mill. The land given was a small portion. People claim that, okay, development, small region we are allotting. But they never visualize that consequent cascaded effect, the service center and township and all those things coming up in the thing. That also we looked at. There is one paper based on that. We have mapped all the developmental project and how the changes have happened over a 5 decade. We have assessed that. Okay. Now with that, this is for the entire Western Ghats. For the period 1985 to the 2018, we analyzed. We looked at the
entire Western Ghats from Gujarat to Kerala.
Yes, Gujarat 8 to 22 degree latitude. Okay, and this gives the fragmentation. Of course, as the time progressed, we move towards the big data. Of course, we get the data 21 days or thing. And now today my students work on artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's where we could do the entire Western Ghats. Since we had the field data, we could do it in 6 months. Entire Western Ghats. Okay.
So, Professor?
There has been a, evergreen forest has declined by 5% during 1985 to 2018. The number 5 looks small. But in some places, 70% is the land cover change.
Average is 5%.
Average, yeah, that's the thing. And also, we saw that increase in this one, we have predicted and all those things, rainy days and decline of rainy days and decline of forest. Okay, the annual thing is about 37,000 tons is the thing. And if you look at in economic terms, it's about 100 billion. This one, I'll move to the ecologically sensitive region. The criteria for ecological sensitive region delineation at village level, what we did is, first we did it at the grid level, 5 minutes by 5 minutes. Then we took it to the panchayat level. So because the BMCs are there at the panchayat, so we thought that that is a decision making body. These are the variables we have used, okay. Most of them are our field data and some are collateral data. It also comes from ATRI and various other portals also. So the forest cover is our this one and the interior forest. Like that we.
That is stream frequencies of any village.
Yeah, you will get that this one, This is for the entire Western Ghats. We have done that. Okay. Based on that, we have done that. Also looked at the kind of what is the population and what is the fuel wood requirement. Since I work on the energy aspect, we did the biomass supply to demand ratio. So what is the kind of the demand in the thing? Wherever forests are there, naturally the demand is also quite high. People use for areca processing and cardamom processing, etc. the fuel wood and water heating, twice they take a bath and all those things. Okay. So then we have the sequestration in the soil as well as this one plantation also we have looked at, which is straightforward. Okay. I didn't see much increase in the plantation year to year. Whereas in the natural forest we see that, okay. So, and then we have the productivity, biomass productivity and soil sequestration. And then finally, we came up with this kind of the thing. What is the emission? Various sectors we have looked at the emission, okay. And then we calculated the carbon budget for this one, ratio of what is the carbon to the emission. Then you will see where all the carbon sequestration is happening.
Where the CBR is?
Carbon budget ratio, that is the ratio of the carbon to the emission.
Emission and
yeah. Okay, then that has gone for the policy, okay. Then we also did after that we did for the entire Western Ghats, okay, there's a standard.
This paper,
yeah, you have seen that. And we have that carbon, this one, standing biomass, soil carbon, that is total carbon. Then we have incremental carbon also. Because of our field data, we could extrapolate that. Then productivity of forest across the Western Ghats.
Extrapolated from Uttarakhand across the
Uttarakhand also some plots in Kerala also. Okay. Then we also simulated what is the kind of the scenario. And more importantly, what this confirms with what Jagadish was talking about. There would be increase in temperature. How much increase in temperature we have talked about. Then the annual rainfall, spatial pattern is changing. That also some part which was receiving higher rainfall, we start receiving low rainfall. For example, Kerala. So that will affect the wet cultivation. Then the rainy days, you see that change in rainy days is the quantity of rain is the same, but rainy days is the thing. Then you know within that short period you have high quantum of rain which leads to the landslide, mudslides. See, I wrote that in the carbon paper. I said that there is likely the mudslide, landslide, and 2019 when the landslide, mudslide happened, you know, people in Kerala and Kodagu, they referred my paper and they started asking, how did you predicted this? Is there any other place? Okay. But after that also, I see the last month when we visited one of the places in Markera, we see that result coming up in the valley zone.
Tell me, this brown is reduction, is it? Number of rainy days?
Yeah, number of rainy days.
And blue is increase, is it?
Yeah, this is increase.
Blue is increase.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See, here there is a decline. There is a.
Why is this consistent with? Yeah, that's what I just understood. This is empirical, this is actual observation.
Okay, then I will quickly go through the water aspect. This is in a current science paper. Okay, see, the same location when I was a student, it was like this. Today it's like this. Okay, then why it has happened?
This better?
No, water has missed.
This better?
No, the same this one.
Is it a beta?
Forest land.
Beta land, no.
No, it's not beta. Forest land.
It looks like a beta.
No, it looks like now the beta land. It was dense forest actually. Okay, now see, we looked at the Sharavati river basin which originates at Ambutirtha, traverses 128 km. See, we took 110 years rainfall data. Before constructing a dam, what is the rainfall and what is the pattern of rainfall after constructing a dam? Before constructing, between 1901 to 1964, entire region was receiving rainfall of 3000 to 4500. Now, after constructing, you know, one part receives the rainfall of 3000 to 4500, while the other part where the degradation has happened, you see the rainfall of 1700 to 1900 millimeter. So, you see one part, the forest is like this.
That's a huge difference.
Yes, there's a huge.
And do you want to see that because of degradation that changes?
Yeah, that's what it shows. Now I will show you.
This is a correlation.
Yeah, there's a
Not only
correlation.
attribution, but
See,
there's correlation.
we also did the you know, sub-basin wise, considering the tributary, what is the kind of forest cover and the rainfall. You see that wherever forests are scanty, 30% forest rainfall is 1776, whereas here 65% forest cover, 4800 is the rainfall, or 60% forest cover, 4400 is the rainfall. Then we did a hydrological study across the various land use types, native forest, urban, this one, then monoculture plantation. We put the sensors in the underlying layer to understand how much water goes to the underlying layer during the monsoon, and also during the post-monsoon, how much water flows laterally, which is available in the stream or river or a well as the post-monsoon flow. So when we study this native vegetation, you know, diverse vegetation, roots are diverse. Because roots are diverse, soil microorganisms are abundant. Because soil microorganism is abundant, soil is porous or permeable, which allows the water to percolate. You know, when it rains in this region, 60 to 65% of rainfall get infiltrated. That is the water available during the post-monsoon. Here, nothing goes here. You know, there is a scarcity of this one. Now, let us look at, and we graded the streams as A, B, C, D. A are the stream carry water for 12 months, B are the stream carry water for the 8 months, C for 6 months, and D for the 4 months. Now, when you look at this, A type of streams are there when the catchment is dominated by the native species vegetation more than 60%. When we convert native species into monoculture plantation, you have B or C. In the name of development, people convert into the monoculture. Then you see the surrounding villages will lose the water. And when we degrade the catchment with the forest cover less than 40%, you have only during the monsoon. Now, to summarize what I said, this is the region where there is a 12 months water. Green is the 8 month, this is 6 months, depending on the level of the fragmentation, and that is 4 months. If you overlay the forest, you see wherever intact contiguous forests are there, 12 months water is available. This is not a rain shadow region. See, if you look at the same kind of orographic precipitation it receives, and the entire is a rain catching region. The other part is a rain shadow region. Okay, so. And also we looked at the demand of the water. You see for agriculture, then for livestock rearing, etc. This shows the demand. Okay, this is the resource availability water. You know, runoff, then the pipe flow, etc. You see here about 60 to 65% of the water get infiltrated, which meets the demand of the people. Whereas here Demand is there, but because there is not much infiltration, there is a scarcity of water. Now, if you want to understand how it gets reflected in the livelihood of the people, see the farmers in this region, they earn 1,54,000 rupees per acre per year. While the farmers in this region, they earn 32,000 rupees per acre per year. This is mainly because since the water is available throughout the year, they can grow multiple crop or a cash crop. Okay? Whereas here, they can grow only one crop. Then if you look at the productivity of the crop, since the pollinators are abundant and diverse here, pollination is efficient. Because of that, yield of the crop is higher. Here the yield is about 12 to 16 quintal per acre, whereas yield of the paddy in this region is 6 to 8 quintal per acre. See, the Prime Minister talks about doubling the income of the farmers. I would say just maintaining the ecosystem integrity, you can double the income. You know, the yield is, that is what evident from here. That is more true for the Western Ghats region. Okay. Okay, then also we looked at the diversity of the other taxa like tiger, sloth, bear, elephant, etc. You see that wherever perennial streams are there, these animals are there.
Take your
Just few minutes.
Okay, and this is a fish, you know, that we discovered. You know, we have named it a new species. This also has a medicinal value. The same fish, when we brought it to the Bangalore lab and cultured it, it didn't have the medicinal value. Which means, if you culture it in its habitat, you get a medicine. Okay? But
Medicine.
this is for respiratory and other diseases, the bronchitis, etc.
Okay.
And see, for this to survive in the stream, you should have 12 months water. For the stream to have 12 months water, the catchment should have the native, the terrestrial diversity of plants and this. Okay? So that's what is shown. Then also we looked at the one of the frog species, there is a direct development. You know, it bypasses the tadpole stage. That is mainly because the stream which was perennial has become a seasonal stream. But the animal has learnt how to continue the progeny. You know, we see the direct development. Probably this is from global warming point of view and the changes in climate. There is bound to be the water scarcity. None of the humans will survive. Only these animals, organisms will survive. That's the message here. Okay? So that's where, you know, patches of forest were declared as the sacred groves and people have conserved it, and this we have mapped in the Uttara Kannada and Shivamogga district. Okay, and also other rivers also we have done the similar study. I will not get into the details of that. Entire western, the Uttara Kannada district, we have done the across the river basin, we have done that. Okay, now let us try to understand what is the value of the forest ecosystem and this one. Okay, so now we have done the both direct and indirect. But if you take the direct benefit, people get timber, NTFP, we got the quantity and multiplied with the market price minus the cost. That gives the benefit. Okay. So we have done that for varieties of this one. See, suppose if you take teak, the wood, the timber, you have teak, rosewood, sandalwood, etc. I have done for the whole Karnataka. Next phase. First is Uttara Kannada. Okay.
So Uttara Kannada paper is also well.
Yes. Okay. Then we aggregated all those things to get the total value. See, our scenario shows, if you consider the forest, the tangible benefit, every year we get 9,200 crores of the worth of the thing. If you include the wild fruit, another 20% adds and it becomes 11,898 crores per year. And if you include the carbon sequestration of the oxygen production, it becomes 15,159 crores. Okay, now let us look at the GDP of the district, which is 5,978. And in that 5,978, they have accounted forest ecosystem as 180 crores.
Only.
You know, 180 crores only. And that too, when I asked them, they said they have accounted only the fuel wood. I said, what about timber and all? Because of this undervaluation.
So the largest is provided.
See, you have
NTFP.
spices, etc. See, I tell you the kind of undervaluation.
So how do you actually value NTFPs?
Oh, this district is fortunate to have a lot of studies. You know, my colleague Ravindranath and his group had worked on. So, and my group has worked on. We have done these certain villages. With that information, and also when we took up this work, we did another.
Why did you separate NTFPs with wild fruits?
No, the wild fruit is because the thing eaten by animals. Nobody has quantified.
Oh, I see.
You know, the forest has, it is not like zoo, but animals are surviving. We quantified how much is this one, okay? Okay. Okay, then we looked at the estuaries. There are 4 major rivers.
You're asking who is to be.
Yeah, and if you look at, in that 2 are dammed, 2 rivers are dammed, 2 are undammed. Now let us look at the productivity of the estuary in terms of the fish, sand, salt, etc. Okay, see, dammed and undammed. If you look at the dammed one, Kali, even though it is a bigger estuary, you have 2,40,000 rupees per hectare per year. Whereas undammed free flowing river, 11,35,000. Here is this one. When we presented this to the Karnataka government, when they are proposing the thermal power plant, when we told that this has a higher productivity and 7,000 families dependent on this estuary for their livelihood, Deputy Chief Minister said, I didn't know, I am going to drop this project. So that is where this kind of work will help, and also we have regulatory and cultural services also. Okay. So then this summarizes the Aganashni has a higher thing. That is where ecologically sensitive thing, they also give the livelihood this one. Okay. Then based on that, when these publications were available to the people, the United Nations approached me asking me to do this study for the 10 districts in Karnataka. But at that time, COVID hit the streets. Since I was in some of the committees of the government of Karnataka, landslide was happening, I was in those committees. I had a vehicle without any problem, we were traveling. Not just 10 districts, we did for entire Karnataka, 30 districts we did the study. We did this quantification, Q into P minus C. C is the cost, harvesting, transportation. That means essentially it gives the benefit. When you do this, this gives the total ecosystem supply value, which we call it as a green, this one GEP, gross, the ecosystem product. Okay. So we also cultural we have looked at, because my group is working on second growth, Subhash Chandran and all the people are doing it. Okay. Then if you look at how the degradation of forest gets reflected in this one, see, total ecosystem supply value in 2005 at 2019 price is 2,841 billion rupees per year, which has come down in 2019 to 1,835, which is directly proportional to 35% forest cover decline in the state. Though FSI shows that forest is increasing with a glossy report, in reality this is the thing. Now, that, we all know this, the TES, every year we get this benefit. What is the asset value when you quantify that? See, the NPV at 3% reduction discount rate, 73,000 billion rupees in 2019, okay? In 2005, at 2019 value has come down to 47,000 billion. See, this is where that your asset value is coming down. That is where the degradation cost, we have to look at it, and we have to account that in a GDP, okay? And then we talked about cluster-based development, what are the resources available, what we can do, what kind of the agro-processing can be done so that local people get the employment, okay? I will not get into the details of this, okay? Then you also are interested in the water. If there is a time, I will do it, otherwise I will stop there.
So,
how did we do that? Because
we
quality
can do it
aspect
in
and the,
3-4 minutes, just.
that should be enough. See,
Others can remain.
okay. So these are the rivers. When we take up a particular river, we monitor both physicochemical and biological parameters. Biological, essentially, these are the indicator species we looked at. The algae, zooplankton, other fish and birds. Okay. So then, we have done detailed study. Publications are also available there. See, when we take up a stream chosen for this one, we look at the hydrological parameter in terms of velocity, etc., physicochemical parameter, and also biological parameter, the species that are there in the stream as well as in the catchment. Okay. So now these are the rivers. Okay. And when we take up the river basin, based on the the catchment, we have chosen the sampling point. Each catchment so as to represent each catchment. Then we looked at the land use in the thing, so that that point, what is the kind of the water coming, whether it is from agriculture, runoff or industry, etc. Okay, and then see, for example, if you take diatoms, these are indicators. So we collect the sample, we prepare slides, and then we identify at the species level. Then we compute the indices. Based on that, you can say that whether the water is contaminated or not contaminated. We have graded the stream. Now to indicate, to summarize what I said so far, this is the kind of data we have. See, you have the land use data, you have rainfall pattern, then also anthropogenic pressure in terms of the pollution getting into the system. We have whether it is a sewage or industrial effluent, etc. Then we have graded this as severely polluted, moderately polluted, or no pollution. You can see that the Bheti river, here the sewage of the neighboring Hubli district comes here, Hubli Taluk. So that is where it is getting polluted, okay.